Hi, I'm Rachel Vandertoolen, and my nonfiction project is on euthanasia. Euthanasia is defined as the act or practice of killing someone who is very sick or injured in order to prevent any more suffering. There's many different forms of euthanasia. The first is active euthanasia. This is killing a patient by active means, for example, injecting a patient with a lethal dose of drugs, sometimes called aggressive euthanasia. The second is passive euthanasia. This is initially letting a patient die by withholding artificial life support, such as a ventilator or a feeding tube. Next, there's voluntary euthanasia. Voluntary euthanasia is euthanasia with the consent of the patient, whereas involuntary euthanasia is without the consent of the patient. For example, if the patient was unconscious or brain dead and his or her wishes were unknown. The next kind is self-administered. This is when the patient administers the means of death themselves. Then there's other administered euthanasia, which is when a person other than the patient administers the means of death. And finally, there's assisted euthanasia, when the patient administers the means, but they're accompanied by a physician. By looking at this timeline, we see that through the years, euthanasia has developed into a very controversial issue. Today, only 3 states in the United States are pro-euthanasia. These states are Oregon, Vermont, and Washington. Some of the pros of euthanasia include a way for people to die on their own terms and not the terms of their disease. They can be surrounded by friends and family, their favorite music, a pet, or however they would like when they choose to die. Everyone can prepare for the final outcome. The patient can end their life before pain presents. The death is more like a sleep than a painful, scary situation. Some cons of assisted suicide include: because of religious views, loved ones of patients may feel that the death is sinful or even selfish. The scary thought of no afterlife if you have no beliefs. Sometimes what is deemed to be a lethal prescription is not so lethal and patients wake up a few days later. And it is very gray and fuzzy on the ethics scale. Humans have the right to natural rights, which exclude attacks on one's life, dignity, and property. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights states, "Everyone has the right to life, and all are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law." In 1966, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, Article 6 states, "Every human being has the inherent right to life. This right shall be protected by law. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his life." There is a presumption that everyone has the right to choose to die, but it is not meant in the sense of euthanasia. I hope you guys enjoyed this slideshow and learned a little bit more about euthanasia. Thank you for your time.